All right, cool. So let's create our gallery .css. All right, so I'm going to do a couple of things right here. I'm going to start off with our h1, which is going to be our title called gallery. And I'm just going to do text align center. And we're going to probably be applying this to a couple of other different ones as well. So I'm going to copy that. The h3, which is going to be the name. Let me just see. Yeah, it's going to be the title of each of these guys. That one, the only thing I'm going to format is going to be the color. And I'm going to make this like a nice goldenrod color. Like a nice darker gold color. The P tags are going to be gray because that's what I want. I'm not suggesting one way or the other what color you use for some of these. The images are where we're going to need to do a couple of things. We're going to want to set a max height and width for those guys. So our max width is going to be 220 pixels. Height is going to be 220 pixels. This is just going to be a nice square. And the margin on top, it's going to separate it out from the next object, I believe, is going to be 10 pixels. All right, so we're going to define a few things for our gallery dash container. And that's going to be this text align center. We're going to put stuff in a flex box, which means that it's going to change shape more or less based on the resolution of the screen that it's viewed upon. So our display is going to be flex. The flex direction for this is going to be the row. And then we're going to do, you guys may be familiar with text wrapping. You can set that as like one of the preferences for your editor so that after a certain number of characters, it wraps around. We're going to do the same thing for these objects so that based on the size of the screen, it'll just start wrapping stuff around and making it more of like a nice column kind of gallery. And we're going to justify the content center. Okay. Now, let's reload the server. So that doesn't look too bad right now. They're a little bit closer together than I would like. What we're going to do is we're going to actually change up some of the stuff in the card itself. All right, cool. So next thing I'm going to do is for the card, I'm going to do dot card for the card class. And I'm going to do border radius is going to be 10 pixels because I like to have like those nice kind of curved edges. I think it's a more modern look that's nice. Margin is going to be 10 pixels. I'm just using code completion for some of this stuff. The width is going to be 20%. So there's going to be 5 of these guys that are going to be able to be in the page. And then the width. So this percentage is the percentage of its parent. So this card is within the gallery container. So it's going to take up 20% of this, each one of them. And then the max width of each of these cards is going to be 280 pixels. That's not the image, that's the card that also contains the image. So the height is just going to be auto, which is probably not necessary, but we'll just keep it in there. And the padding is going to be 5 pixels. Okay, let's go back through. And now we have a nice little separation, and that looks nice and clean. So that makes me happy. Now we're able to see the gallery because I didn't check to see if someone was logged in, which is not necessarily bad, I guess. As long as they can't complete a review, that's fine. All right. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little special thing on the, what do you call it? The A link right here. So when I hover over it, I'm going to change the opacity and I'm going to do a few other things. And this is going to kind of lead us into next week, where we're going to start manipulating the things like opacity and color based on hovering effects. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this A tag right here. And the background color is going to be black. The background position is going to be center. And the background size is going to be cover. And if we go back through, we see that that gives these guys a black background. So this entire thing basically is clickable. And I'm just going to see what happens when I put this guy in here. Yeah, gives that a nice little curve. That makes it nice and clean, so it's not a pointy little box inside of a nice curvy one. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna define this little animation effect. So when we hover over it, we're going to change the opacity. We're gonna dial it down to about 70% of what it originally was. And the way that we do that is we have this A just like we did before, but we're gonna have a colon, and then we're gonna define this action called hover. And our opacity is going to be 70%. And our text decoration color, is going to be goldenrod. I can change that up. So now, see, when we hover over this, it dims the opacity. Before, the underline right here was blue. So you can kind of play around with that and find whatever one works best for you. See, now it changes the underline to red. Okay. Ooh. I actually want to specify this though because I forgot that these are anchor tags as well. So I'm gonna make it very specific by using this .gallery container. So what I'm doing down here is I'm actually specifying a location for these guys here by having that gallery container. And now when we go back here, it's only these guys that are affected. So that looks better. You don't have to have black. You can have a completely different color. In retrospect, the black doesn't look that great. So I'm going to do like I don't know, purple, or yeah, something like that. All right, that looks awful, but you get the picture. You can make some modifications to it, change this up from gray to be whatever you want. I'm going to go back to goldenrod and and then the color for this one is going to be a green. That'll be some New Orleans colors. Okay, could be better, but whatever.